So think about the brands you interact with, like every single day. The ones you just instantly recognize. Maybe it's that iconic bit in
Oh, the
Apple.
golden arches, yeah.
Right, or even like the smell of Old Spice.
Mhm.
It's distinctive. What makes these huge companies, these absolute household names, decide to just completely transform their identity. Today, our deep dive is all about the incredible art and science, really, of company rebranding.
And it's so much more than just, slapping on a new logo or picking different colors.
Exactly. It's often this really profound strategic move, sometimes to survive a crisis.
Or capture a new cultural moment.
Or even pivot the whole company towards like new growth, a new era. We've been digging into this article. It details the 10 most iconic company rebrands in history.
And it's packed with fascinating stuff, looking at why they needed to change,
Yeah, the circumstances back then.
how the designs evolved, and what actually happened in the real world because of it, the impact.
So, our mission for you today is basically to unpack these stories together. We want to uncover some of the surprising facts behind these huge shifts.
And really get why these rebrands mattered so much.
Not just for the bottom line of the company, but for like popular culture too, and how designers think.
Yeah, it definitely influences broader trends.
We want to give you that shortcut, to grasp the strategy behind it all. How that mix of story, design, and business smarts really becomes the heart of their identity and their growth. Okay, let's unpack this. How do companies literally reinvent themselves?
Well, what's fascinating, isn't it, is how often these rebrands aren't just random choices. They often directly mirror these bigger societal shifts or really critical moments for the business.
That makes sense.
Which kind of begs the question, what actually pushes a company to take such a dramatic step? It's often expensive too.
Right, big risks involved.
Sometimes it's pure crisis, like survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's, for instance, back in the early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
they were facing what the article calls an existential crisis.
Existential. Wow. Because of the healthy eating trend.
Exactly. That and just waves of criticism painting them as, junk food.
And Apple too, right? In the 90s.
Yeah. Mid-90s, Apple was staring down deep financial peril. It sounds dramatic, but it was true.
And Lego. I was surprised by that one.
Me too. You think of them as so solid, but they apparently stretched themselves dangerously thin. Real financial turmoil.
So for those guys, rebranding wasn't really a choice, was it?
Not really. It was about survival. Absolutely essential.
Incredible, these massive companies on the edge. But then it's not always crisis, is it? Sometimes it's the opposite. It signals huge growth, ambition.
Precisely. Look at Airbnb. It started out as this quirky startup, kind of small scale.
Yeah, I remember that early vibe.
Then it just became this global hospitality behemoth.
Yeah.
Suddenly they had to unite millions of hosts and guests.
Under one banner, essentially, one feeling of trust.
That's right. And Uber's similar.
Mm-hmm.
Went from being the agile disruptor, mostly black cars, kind of exclusive, to this sprawling urban mobility service. They needed a brand that could actually cover all that. Maybe lose some of that early image.
Yeah, shed that skin. Makes sense.
And then there's the need for just like unification, clarity. Often after big changes inside the company.
Yeah.
Exxon's big overhaul in '72. That's described as a rarely matched feat of corporate unification.
Why? What was going on there?
Well, after the big Standard Oil breakup, they were all fragmented. Different names in different places. Esso, Inco.
Oh, right. Confusing.
Yeah, and dealing with all sorts of legal and geographic restrictions. They just desperately needed one single strong identity everywhere.
And American Airlines had a similar issue later.
Kind of. Their 2013 rebrand happened during massive fragmentation and unprecedented industry change. Plus, that huge merger with U.S. Airways.
So it wasn't just about looking modern.
No, it was very much about pulling all these different pieces of this giant airline together, making it feel like one company.
And sometimes it's simpler. Just about staying relevant. Modernizing.
Definitely. Old Spice is the classic example there. It had really become, Grandpa's aftershave.
Totally. My grandpa used it.
See? They were facing this fading masculine aesthetic, losing ground with younger guys. Relevance was eroding fast.
And Intel. They're always innovating, but their brand needed to keep up too.
Yeah, the article points out that Intel's rebranding arc mirrors the evolution of the tech industry itself. Even a giant foundational tech company has to keep its image fresh, contemporary.
Right. You can't look like yesterday's tech.
Exactly. And then you have the really ambitious, maybe risky reinventions. Twitter becoming X is probably the biggest recent example. It's called among the most controversial and closely watched rebrands.
Controversial is putting it mildly for some people.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was driven by Elon Musk's vision for a super app, right?
Yeah.
Something much bigger than just social media.
Yeah, payments, messaging, maybe ride-hailing, all in one.
It's a huge gamble, fundamentally trying to reposition a brand that was, well, monumental.
Okay, so we've got the why. Crisis, growth, unity, relevance, ambition. But this is where it gets really good. How do they actually do it? Let's dive into some examples. Apple seems like the place to start. Their turnaround is legendary.
It really is the template, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mid-90s, like we said, almost bankrupt.
So what was the fix?
Well, the return of Steve Jobs, obviously.
Okay.
That was key. He came back, famously cut loads of projects.
Right, streamline everything.
And aggressively refocused the company on connecting with the consumer lifestyle. Deeply connected.
That Think Different campaign. Wow.
Yeah, created by T.B. Waukee. It wasn't just ads. It completely redefined Apple. Positioned them as the creative outsider for the rebels, the visionaries.
They really tapped into something.
And the visual change was just as big. They ditched that old, elaborate Newton Undertree logo.
I vaguely remember that one. Bit fussy.
Yeah, to the now absolutely unmistakable minimalist bitten apple. And crucially, going from rainbow colors to monochrome.
Sleek, simple, sophisticated.
Exactly. It signaled a massive shift. And the impact, just staggering. Soaring profitability.
Then came iPod, iPhone.
Total cultural dominance.
Yeah.
Apple's rebrand really is that textbook case for linking the story, the design, and the business strategy authentically.
It showed branding wasn't just decoration.
Not at all. It's the core, the absolute heart of identity and growth.
Okay, McDonald's. They had that junk food problem we talked about, early 2000s. How did they balance heritage with, well, health concerns?
Their solution was that huge global I'm loving it campaign. Super comprehensive.
Oh, yeah, everyone knows that jingle.
Exactly. But it was more than the jingle. It was vibrant new packaging, updated restaurant interior.
And menu changes too, right? Salads.
Yes. Salads, apple slices, critical menu innovations. They were trying to shift perception.
From just fast food to something more mainstream.
That lifestyle.
That was the goal. And they cleverly kept the classic golden arches, you don't ditch those.
Yeah.
But paired them with a more friendly, modern tone.
Continuity, but evolving. Right. And it worked. Global sales recovery, renewed brand relevance. McDonald's really showed how you can balance that nostalgia with innovation.
And adapt to changing social expectations. That's tough.
Very tough. A lot of brands stumble there.
Now, Lego's story is really interesting, too. They over-diversified, got into financial trouble.
Yeah, spread themselves way too thin. The solution was pretty radical. Go back to the core. Back to the classic bricks.
Just bricks.
Well, focusing on the core system. But, and this is key, they didn't just retreat. They were smart about curated partnerships. Star Wars, Harry Potter.
Ah, huge franchises.
And what's really cool was how they started integrating their fan community. Using online platforms, treating fans almost as co-creators.
That's clever. It builds loyalty.
Totally. And their whole product line became about rich storytelling, which all led up to the Lego movie.
Which was amazing. So funny. So much heart.
And brilliant brand messaging woven right in. The result, Lego roared back to profitability. They became a benchmark for combining content, community, and focused identity.
Wow. Back to your roots, but bring your audience with you. Powerful.
Very.
Okay, Airbnb. From quirky startup to global behemoth, their old homespun look just wasn't cutting it anymore.
Not on a global scale, no. So 2014, they roll out the Bello logo and that whole belong anywhere narrative.
The bellow? That caused a stir, didn't it?
It did. The reception was definitely deeply polarized. Some people loved it, saw the symbolism.
Which was meant to be about sharing, belonging.
Yeah, universal ideas, transcending language, transcending culture. That was the aim. Others found the design ambiguous.
But did it work strategically?
I think you have to say yes. It gave them a unified story, a unified look. It aligned their teams internally and externally. Airbnb just explosively grew.
And it shifted how people saw them, right?
Yeah.
Not just a website to book a room.
Exactly. Yeah. From a transactional marketplace to a shared experience. It built on community, on trust. So even if the logo itself was debated, the message landed.
Right. And Uber, another fast-growing tech company, they also needed to change their look as they expanded beyond just fancy cars.
Yeah, that original Stark U emblem, it fit that early, sleek exclusivity. But by 2016, they were doing so much more. Food delivery, freight.
So they needed something broader.
Right. They replaced the U with that abstract atom motif. The idea was connectivity, local flavor, adapting to different markets.
Was that popular? People liked the U?
It was definitely controversial. A lot of people decried the abandonment of a now iconic logo, but others saw the ambition, the flexibility it offered.
So it helped them manage all those new services.
That was the idea. Support the expansion, clarify the vision as this broad technological enabler, not just a car service. It showed them adapting their identity to their business model, proactively.
Unlike Intel, maybe, their changes sound more gradual.
Much more gradual. Intel's rebranding really does track the whole evolution of the tech industry. It's been more about incremental steps, evolution, not revolution.
Like what?
Well, their 2006 refresh added that vortex graphic, kind of lining with the energy of Intel inside. Then in 2020, they updated again. New font Intel 1, aiming for a cleaner, digital-friendly look.
So evolution keeps trust.
That seems to be the lesson here. The article suggests that incremental visual evolution can powerfully sustain trust and relevance over long periods. It reinforces their position as this foundational tech company.
Interesting. So not every rebrand needs to be a shock to the system.
About it all. Sometimes subtle refinement is the smarter play.
American Airlines, though, they faced big changes. Fragmentation, that huge merger with U.S. Airways. They needed something bold.
They needed to unify a really complex structure.
Yeah.
Present a single, cohesive front.
So what did they change visually?
The 2013 design swapped out the old, much-loved Eagle logo, designed by Massimo Vignelli, a legend.
Oh, people must have hated losing that.
Some loyalists definitely lamented the passing of the classic. They replaced it with the flight symbol and that bold American flag design on the tail.
Trying to look modern, patriotic.
Kind of fusing patriotism with aerodynamic modern flair, as the article puts it. It definitely unified the look across their massive fleet, modernized their appearance, helped project confidence.
A tricky balance, though. Honoring the past, looking forward.
Absolutely. It's that challenge. How do you evolve without totally ditching your heritage, your soul? Many legacy brands wrestle with that.
And for pure unification power, Exxon in 72 sounds like the ultimate example. Fragmented after Standard Oil broke up.
Completely fractured, different brands, Esso, Enco, all over the U.S., a mess of legal and geographic issues.
So how did they fix it?
They brought in the design legend Raymond Loewy. He came up with the name Exxon, chosen specifically because it sounded strong, worked across languages, no weird meanings anywhere.
Sorry.
And that iconic double X logo, this wasn't just a new sign. It was a massive, highly disciplined, far-reaching corporate design program. Thousands of gas stations changed almost overnight.
Wow, the logistics alone.
Incredible. But it worked. Praised for unity, modernity, that visual backbone that carried through even into ExxonMobil later. A real testament to disciplined design on a huge scale.
Okay, Old Spice. This one feels different. More about attitude.
Oh, definitely. It was stuck firmly in that grandpa's aftershave category.
Yeah.
Relevance just draining away.
So P&G decided to shake things up. Big time.
Big time is right. Starting around 2010, they launched the Man Your Man Could Smell Like campaign.
On a horse, yes.
Exactly. It wasn't just an ad. It was a cultural moment.
Right.
This amazing mix of absurdist humor, slick production, and really smart, rapid social media engagement.
And they updated the products, too.
Totally refreshed identity, new product lines. It became this absolute viral sensation. Sales jumped by double digits.
It made Old Spice cool. For a whole new generation.
Unbelievably, yes. It became a pop culture touchstone. It just showed how a really strategic persona shift, combined with clever digital storytelling, could completely revitalize a dusty old heritage brand.
Who knew body wash could be so culturally significant?
Right. Just brilliant execution.
And that brings us to the last one, the really current one. Twitter becoming X.
Yeah, among the most controversial and closely watched rebrands going on right now, because it's still playing out.
Driven by Musk's big vision, right? The super app.
Exactly. The idea that it needs to be much more than just a social platform. So, the little blue bird, gone. Replaced by that stark X icon.
And the reaction.
Yeah.
Polarized.
Deeply polarized is the phrase used. Lots of people just decried the loss of a beloved internet symbol. It meant something to them.
But others saw the boldness.
Yeah, others hailed the boldness and conceptual clarity, praised the ambition of the new direction.
The outcome.
Still remains uncertain. That's what makes it so interesting to watch in real time. But it definitely highlights the huge risks and potential rewards of trying to fundamentally reposition such a massive, culturally embedded brand.
A real high-wire act with potentially huge consequences.
Absolutely. We're watching brand history being made, possibly, or unmade. So if we try to connect all these stories, look at the bigger picture. What really jumps out at you about how these incredibly different companies tackled their transformations. Some, like you said, were desperate, just trying to survive. Others were shooting for the moon with growth. Some needed to tidy up after mergers. Others just needed to feel relevant again.
Yeah, the reasons varied wildly.
But underneath it all, there seems to be this profound strategic intention, right? To actually change their path. It wasn't just surface stuff.
No, definitely not just putting lipstick on a pig, as they say. It was about rebuilding the foundation, or maybe building a whole new wing onto the house.
That's a good way to put it, rebuilding the foundation.
That feels like the key point, doesn't it? So what does all this mean for us? You know, the people who see these logos use these services every day. How do these rebrands actually shape things? Do they mirror culture, or do they actively change it? Because these companies aren't just selling us stuff anymore.
No, they're selling ideas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Lifestyles,
Yeah.
solutions. And those ideas, those narratives, they can get really embedded in how we think, how we live.
Yeah, they become part of the cultural furniture, sometimes without us even noticing how they got there. They're shaping our world.
Definitely.
So when we wrap this up, these iconic rebrands, they're clearly not just cosmetic changes. They are serious strategic maneuvers.
Right.
They fundamentally alter a company's path, its footprint in the culture.
Yeah, it's always this delicate dance, isn't it? Between honoring where you came from, the legacy, and embracing what's next. Innovation.
Embedding that emotional story, adapting to technology, society, the market. It's constant change.
From Apple and Lego fighting for survival.
To Airbnb and maybe Twitter X reaching for something totally new. These stories just offer so many lessons about identity, resilience.
Absolutely.
So here's a final thought for you listening. As you go about your day, today, tomorrow, start noticing the logos, the brand messages around you. How many of them feel like they have that deep strategic purpose behind them, like the ones we've talked about? Yeah, and how many just feel like, surface polish?
Right. And maybe think about what the next truly iconic rebrand might look like, what crisis or what huge ambition might be driving it.